Welcome to Instagram Live with Emmanuel Williams, or as you know me on Instagram now as Emmanuel Will Inspire. Today we're talking about finding mentorships and mentors, and I'm gonna give the live a little time for persons to be alerted in relation to joining the live. So you see me on my phone, I am actually keeping track of the points that I have in mind to relate to you guys. And as I said, just going to give it a little time for persons to be alerted. But I'm going to start right away, and my intention is to make the live available after the 5 to 10 minutes that we have here. Looking forward to your questions and giving as much guidance as I can in relation to the broad topic of mentors and mentorship, finding mentorship. So, gonna give it a little time. Someone joined. Hey. Alright, so I'm gonna begin. My thing and my philosophy is always this, that really our service to persons is not always in relation to the number of persons or how many persons we speaking to or giving content to. I think if you're doing something out of an authentic heart and spirit, then if you do it just for the one, then it will be enough. You don't need a particular figure to start. So I'm starting just there. So this whole idea of talking about mentors and mentorship really came from my experience the other day, having done a speaking engagement at the Science and Technology faculty. They had a wealth symposium last week, Thursday. It was well attended, and I'm truly grateful for that experience. But there was a section that they had the Q&A, and a gentleman there asked a question, and he asked, what should I invest in first after university? And I took the question and I said to him, hey Jan, thanks for joining. And I took the question and I said to him, you should invest in knowledge and mentors. Why is that the first thing that you should invest in when you're leaving university? I told him knowledge and mentor. Hi Josan, thanks for joining. It's because leaving university, you're charting your way, you're trying to find out what is important to you, where should I go, where should I sleep, where should I work, all these things that boggle your mind as a university student fresh out of university. So after that speaking engagement, I told him to invest in knowledge and mentors, and it's important to have mentors, and I got into the whole thing with him. He came to me after, and then he's like, should I get a job first or should I get a mentor? So I'm like, I think you should get a job first, because a mentor may not give you a job per se. You know, they can guide you in where to go and share some experiences, but they may not give you a job. And he's like, okay, thank you. I'm just really trying to figure it out and, trying to understand this whole life thing. And when he said that, I realized, wow, I really have a duty to ensure that he understands the whole gamut of what mentorship is about. So I took some time to speak to him more about mentorship. And I thought about it, because you know me, so I like share information and help others. I said, if he's having this issue, and I understand where he's coming from, trying to figure out life, because I myself have my own area of life that I'm still trying to figure out. And I said to myself, why not do a live in relation to mentors and mentorship and finding mentors? So, big question, who are mentors, or who is a mentor? I'll put it by example first, and these views and expressions are just my experiences throughout life and what I've learned. A mentor really is like your Jackie Chan to the Karate Kid. It's your Avatar Roku to Aang. It's your Paul to Timothy, Abraham to Isaac. A mentor is basically that person who guides you and helps you in relation to where you're trying to reach in life or a particular area of your life. So it's not that complicated. It's just somebody who has a little more experience than you in a particular field or study or whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. They have more knowledge than you, and you're using their knowledge and experiences to cut down the learning curve. that to me is the whole idea of who a mentor is. Now, when we think of mentors, a lot of persons have, I think, misconceptions of what they think the mentor-mentee relationship should be like. And some of those myths can even be persons think that a mentor should talk to you every single day of the week, always have access to their time, always have the information right on spot. Charrington, we're talking about mentors and mentorship, finding mentors and how to find a mentor and the importance of mentorship for millennials and persons leaving university. Though the discussion is geared directly towards university students, at any stage of your life, you can still be mentored. Going back to who I say a mentor is, a person who is just guiding you and giving you experiences that they have garnered throughout their lifetime. Okay, so why do you need a mentor? For me, I'm a person, I believe mentors just help you to achieve what you want and guide you along the way. It's about cutting down the learning curve. So the time it would take you to, say, figure out a particular industry or understand the whole gamut of, let's say you want to know about branding. Zane is on this. And I'm glad that Zane checked in. Zane is into events planning and he also does leadership. Now, someone like Zane, who knows about event planning and what it takes to put on an event. The other day we actually had a discussion, me and Zane sat down and I said, Zane, I have an idea for 2020. And bro, this is what I'm trying to achieve. Zane, who had experience in all of that, planning events, putting on an event, having a successful event, was able to render information to me that was useful to guide my thinking, guide my actions, and guide my planning. So that is why you may need a mentor. A mentor is just really like, teaching students. It happens a lot. So there are different types of mentors for different stages and areas of your life. So you may have a mentor for your spiritual development. You may have a mentor for your business, mentor in relation to finances, mentor in relation to academics, mentor in relation to other areas of your life. Mentor in relation to gym. You go into the gym, you have a gym mentor. Now, why is it important to have the mentors compartmentalized? And it's important to know that you can have more than one mentors. Hey Kiza, thanks for joining. You can have more than one mentors in your life. For example, I usually tell persons that your first mentors are Google and YouTube. Why? Now this is very unconventional. There's nothing in science or statistics about it. I usually say Google and YouTube because this is where you can go, get the information. Don't worry about feeling bad or anything. You can Google anything, YouTube anything, and you get the answer. However, having a human mentor, a person that is there to interact with, helps you to understand and they answer questions and they pick your brain and track your progress. Google and YouTube don't track your progress, they just give you the answer. So having different types of mentors allows you to have more than one mentors. So you don't need to limit yourself and think, oh, I have this one mentor and it's all-encompassing mentor that has everything and whatever. No. For me personally, I have different type of mentors, but along the journey, and your parents can be your mentors as well. I think your parents, outside of YouTube and Google, as I just said, are your first interaction with a mentor-mentee relationship. My personal experience with having formally asked someone to be my mentor, because over years, in relation to motivational speaking, public speaking, that kind of stuff, I would accredit Jim Rohn, he's now deceased, he's a motivational speaker, as being a mentor to me in relation to the stuff that he talks about, his focus, his personal philosophies, outside of the gamut of speakers that are out there. However, mentorship comes in when you have an appreciation for where you are in life. And you need a mentor because you're trying to achieve something, and no matter how you try to work your way through the tunnel, you're not particularly moving, or you're unsure if you're moving in the direction you want to go. So for me, in 2018, around September, November, that time period, I felt like I never had any direction. Because in that period of my life, I told myself, all right, Manny, it's final year of school now. You need to just focus on school and just get out and put in all the work. And so what I did, which looking back was not the wisest thing, I cut back on my investment in Minute Motivation. And if you guys know me, it's law and Minute Motivation. That's really my life right there. And I like it. I like Minute Motivation, and I like what I do. And I put that on the back burner to focus on school. And it left me feeling like I never had any purpose, never had any direction. And one evening I was coming in from a mock trial that they have at the Norman Law School. And I happened to see Jeffrey Azan walking across Student Union. So I walked up to him and I was like, oh, you're Jeffrey Azan, I saw you on profile the other day, XYZ. And I had introduced myself and I told him this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm trying to go. And we just had a good 10-20 minute conversation in relation to speaking and motivational speaking and an event that I was planning for 2019, which is the Dollars and Cents Financial Symposium. And he asked me one question that really changed the game of my thinking at that particular point in time. He asked me, what is your story? And I started telling him that I used to live in Belize, I used to do this, I used to do that. And he's like, nah, that's your eulogy. That's what you tell people when you're dead. He's like, what is your story? Until you find your story and get comfortable with telling and sharing your story, then you'll only be a speaker. And I thought about it for a bit. I said, that's something to think about. And then we spoke and had a discussion, but I was leaving the country in December, and we set up a meeting for January of 2019. And after that meeting, I look into it and I say, you know what? I recognize that he is somewhere in life where I'm trying to reach. So for that very reason, he has 8 to 10 years ahead of me, and he has walked the path that I am currently on. So I formally asked him in that capacity to be my mentor. And it goes back to the point, you do have persons who can be your mentor that you don't ask them, you just observe how they live. And you're a person that you can formally ask to be your mentor. And out of that, it helped me to get clarity on where I'm going in relation to what I'm trying to achieve. So even joining Toastmasters was out of that mentorship, because he had asked me not just what my story is, but what type of professional/personal development programs are you on that's going to help you achieve what you're trying to achieve. So that's it for type of mentors. And I hope you guys following so far, but that's my experience so far at mentors. And in relation to business, I have other mentors that I speak to about different stuff. Now, the mentor you talk to about politics is not the mentor you talk to about business per se. It's not the mentor you talk to about your spiritual life or your gym life. And I tell you why. They don't have the same capacity or knowledge. So your mentor might be really into you and into feeding you in relation to your political journey, but they might not have the knowledge on business. So you're not going to sit down and talk with the mentor about business, because they're either not going to entertain it or they're not going to be able to adequately help you in relation to business. So streamline the investment. So how do we actually choose mentors, right? You have to know first, what do you want? Hey Liv, thanks for joining. You have to know what do you want. Because it's like going to the grocery store or going to the cook shop, and then you stand up there in the line, or this is what people do a lot. You go to KFC and you're in the line how long, and KFC lines usually long, and you wait until you reach the front of the line and the cashier take out the card and say, what you want? And then you look up now and then you're like, do I want a zinger? Do I want a chicken box? Do I want a big deal? Get the zinger, spicy zinger, go large on fries. But really and truly, that's the same thing with mentors. You don't want to get a mentor or reach out to somebody and you don't know what you want. And I think that's where a lot of young people go wrong. They reach out to people, but they don't know what they want. They just want to reach out for the sake of having a conversation with a particular person. And that is another issue that I think, or myth that our young people go wrong in relation to finding a mentor. Because now, they want to get a mentor with a special name. They want to get a mentor with a big name. But that don't really make sense. I tell you why. Let us say, for example, I think I can use Jeffrey as an example. Let's say you get Jeffrey as and he won't mind, as your mentor, right? Because people like the name and this and that, and he's going places, he's doing this, he's doing that. However, even though he's a mentor to me, I still have to make time, and he still have to make time. I can't just run in and say, hey, I want to link you this weekend or link you this week, link you. No, because he has a time, he has a schedule, and you have to honor that. Some persons want to be mentored by, say, Michael Leachin. Nothing is wrong with that. But based on his involvement in society, do you think he will be able to adequately give you the time and effort in relation to what you're trying to achieve? No. Stop valuing mentors based on what you think they are in society or the name them have or the amount of. Value the mentor in relation to what you think them can give you now in this particular time of life. And eventually I'm going to get down into talking about millennial mentorship. And I think if we really invest in millennial mentorship, we can learn a lot. So you may not always have access to these persons, but look for someone who you know will, one, have the time, and I don't mean like give you like them whole week, but at least be able to have an interactive session, because that's some of the reasons why school mentorship don't work. And I don't particularly join school mentorship programs and those kind of programs. I tell you why. A school is going to set up a system and say, okay, all these seniors here are going to mentor all these first years here, second years here. The seniors don't really want to do it. That's just the truth. That's just the facts. But you're going to force them to mentor somebody while them are trying to figure it out. It doesn't always work. And you have to have empathy to be a mentor. And the time and the resources and the emotional capacity to give. Because mentorship and being a mentor is a service. You're giving of yourself, giving of your time, giving of your knowledge and your experience and all of that to this person in order to move them from point A to point B. That's the whole gamut of why they have mentorship programs. But I don't particularly think they work well in school because of how they're structured and they're not as organic. So you have to know what you want out of this mentorship experience. In choosing a mentor, you need to know why you're choosing that mentor. So, do you want to learn about branding? So choose a mentor in the field of branding. Do you want to grow deeper in your relationship with God? Choose a mentorship or mentor in that line. Business, find that mentor and know why you're choosing that person. Look at the person's background. Look at the person's values. Look at the person's achievements and see if that person is able to help you on the path that you're on. And that's important too, because you need to recognize that everybody is on their own path in life. So we might be in the same class, however, our experience and interpretation of what's happening in the class is different. And it's the same reason why persons feel like, oh, their mentor don't help them with none. Or they join a mentorship program and it never works out. It's because you're trying to get something or have this warped conception of what you think it is, and in your choosing, you don't know why you're choosing. So you have to always start with why and then follow through from there. Then the second thing, or the third thing I'd say in how to choose a mentor is have a somewhat vision. Now this is very important. The vision really is that overarching thing that you're trying to reach in life. And I think a lot of times motivational speakers, inspirational speakers, we do a disservice to persons when we tell them, oh, you need to have a vision for your life and find your purpose. It's stressful. It's not as easy. You're not going to just find a vision. It's not under the couch. Your purpose is not in the living room, underneath the sofa. There they put down and wait for you to find it. It is something that takes time, effort, and intentionality. And because we live in this overloaded, overstimulated generation, we feel like we can just get it at the tip of our fingers. So when finding a vision, that's why I say find a somewhat vision, so that the mentor knows where to guide you. Because remember, let me tell you who is a real mentor. You know who is a real mentor? The map from Dora. When you say, I'm the map, the map really is to guide you where you're going. Dora and Boots just look at the map and say, oh, that's where we're going. That's what the mentor does. So when you yourself don't know where you're going, the mentor cannot guide you The map cannot guide you. Because if you just say, oh, I want to start a business. Okay. Why? Where are you going? Where do you see that business going? Okay, you have a business name. You have this idea. You want to develop it. But you might not have the total vision of your life put together yet, But I say have a somewhat vision. That's why I personally don't believe that, and this is a whole different conversation. I personally don't believe that you should try plan a 5-year plan for your life. You know why? 5 years from now, I don't know where I'm going to be, or what I'm going to do, or what I'm going to do. However, I think you can plan a 2-year plan for your life. You can decide right now, this is what, 2019, 2 years from now, where will you be? And it's not just where will you be, because you can be anywhere in the world. You can be at any job. The question really when you're planning a vision for your life and planning the next 2 years of your life really is, who do you want to become? For me, I want to be that gentleman, that young man that really focus and understand what I'm about in life and what I'm trying to achieve in life and follow through with that with consistency. So it's easy to plan my moves in relation to a 2-year plan rather than this 5-year plan. Oh my God, let's plan a 5-year plan for life. It doesn't work to me. And these are just views and expressions, and you can agree or disagree if you want. So just keeping on track with things. Have a somewhat vision for your life when choosing your mentor. And the next thing is reach out. Now, let me show you something. This is what I realize a lot of young persons are intimidated about, and that's making the first move. But the making the first move is because we fear rejection. All right, what if them don't meds me? And for my Belizean colleagues and friends looking on, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it, but even persons from America, when we talk about somebody not meds in you, it really means that they're not giving you attention or paying you any mind. Reach out nonetheless. I remember one time I had reached out to a person, but I had already understood how that person thinks and operates. And I said to the person, as an attorney, that, hey, I can help boost your social media presence because I do social media management on the side and I do little marketing, look at this, look at that. And the person said, come talk to me. I had that conversation with the person, we established a professional relationship out there. Now, you might be sitting there and saying, but Manny, I don't do any of those other little things. Reach out nonetheless. But it would go back to understanding why, what you want, as I said earlier, why you're choosing that mentor, and have a somewhat vision. And reaching out to that person. Because if you don't reach out, the mentor is not going to say, oh, wow, look at little Johnny. Johnny look like he's going somewhere. Johnny look like he needs some help. Let me go and reach out to Johnny. No, you have to remember some of these mentors are adults. They have time, they have families, they have priorities. And by way of them having priorities, you need to ensure that when you reach out to them, you don't per se have your whole life together, because nobody really does, but you have some fragments of the pieces of the puzzle and you say, hey, can you help me put this puzzle together? I'm just trying to figure out this area of my life. Right? So reaching out, overcome the fear of rejection. If they say no, that's fine. Hi, Miss Williams, thanks for joining. That's fine if they don't join. And Miss Williams is the Student Services Development Manager of Irving. And in her capacity, I'm pretty sure she has done a lot of mentorship. And I've seen her done mentorship for young persons as well that benefit from the environs of student development on campus. And the last thing in relation to how to choose a mentor, mentors don't stay forever. Now, what this means is that everybody you meet in your life or every mentor that you engage with brings you to a certain level. So the whole point of the mentorship program is to help you, not just program, but the relationship, because it is a relationship, is to bring you up to speed to this level. And when they brought it to that level, sometimes mentors might move on because, as I said, they have their own life, or they just leave you to swim on your own. Because if every time you have a mentor, it's just like having training wheels. At some point, you have to take off the train. Let's be real. At some point, you have to take off the training wheels. And they leave you on your own to chart the rest, to work on the things that they've given you. And it goes back to what I've said to someone before. We really live in an information overloaded generation because we get all this salient information and we don't act on it and we waste the people them time. Don't go to mentors or reach out to somebody just to get all this information, all this knowledge, just to say, oh, I spoke to XYZ or I spoke to Miss Williams from Irving and she gave me all this information, and then you don't do nothing with the information. You're wasting the people them time. And it's not fair when they invest that time and energy into you, and then you don't do anything with the information just because they want to post and say you had a conversation with XYZ person. So mentors don't stay forever. Use that time wisely that you have with them and choose mentors in relation to what you're trying to achieve in this particular season of life. And now I segue into the do's and don'ts about mentors and mentorship. This is all about boundaries. Your mentor is not your friend. It is and these are my views again, it is a professional relationship that you have with this individual. You don't need to go for drinks with your mentor. You don't need to go out on weekends with your mentor. If you guys decide to meet at a coffee shop, fine. If you guys decide to meet over a lunch discussion, fine. But don't overstep the boundary in that professional relationship with your mentor and your mentee, because it conflates the whole reason for the relationship, which is to help you grow. And by overstepping your boundary or doing something that is adverse to the relationship, you now diminish the relationship to something else. And then it just not gonna have the same effect. Some things you can do with your mentor is to follow up with them. So as I said, for me, I follow up a lot with Jeffrey. I follow up a lot with Dwayne McIntosh. He's a good person in business. He's actually also a good person that you can speak to one-on-one and him answer your messages. Follow up with them, because persons don't have time. It all goes back to time. I think living on campus, young people have this misconception that time is very fluid. So we show up to things late. We link somebody last minute to do an event. We do a lot of last minute things because, oh, it's just right there, and oh, it's just on campus. But outside of campus, the real world is happening. So follow up with persons. They might not always answer your messages to time. I remember one time I had reached out to Crystal Tomlinson, and I'm sure she won't mind me mentioning her name. And she had sent me some information based on a question I had asked. And to date, some of the things that she had mentioned to me, I'm still working on it. So as I said, don't get the information and just leave it up in thin air. Actually show that you're making progress. Some do's, and other persons have a different view of this. You can add value to the relationship. So I believe don't just come with a too long hand them. So what are you giving? You might not be able to give time or money or whatever, but what are you giving of value to the relationship? So for example, you may be mentored by somebody who is much older and not tech savvy. I had someone that I was working with over the summer, and the person wasn't tech savvy. So I helped put them on WhatsApp, I helped them with them emails, I helped them with the little tech stuff that I know that I can work with. That is adding value to the relationship. So don't discount the things that you can do that can add value to a relationship. So it's not just get. What can you give? It can be something simple as an article that you know the person might be interested in. So your mentor might be into venture capital in capitalist kind of investment, and you see something come up on Financial Times about venture capitalist investment. You send them the article. Hey, saw this article, looks pretty interesting, and you share it with them. That is an exchange of knowledge, exchange of information, exchange of value, showing that I'm not just trying to take from you, I'm also trying to invest in the relationship as well. And that's some do's and don'ts of mentors and mentorship. I'm pretty sure it's not exhaustive. Some of you looking on can add to that as well. And now I move on to peer mentorship and millennial mentorship. I think if millennials and young people really work together, we can really move and shake our environment, our society, and our communities. There are a lot of young people with great ideas, a lot of young people with experience, a lot of young people with different pieces of the puzzle. And if we put the different knowledge together, then you find that we can move further along together. There are a lot of things that I've learned from young people my age, between 18 to 25, that make me look back and think, and I was like, wow, that's pretty deep. So maybe you're not brave enough to, say, speak to somebody already in the industry or somebody who's an influencer out there and a game changer. But you can talk to somebody your age. Look at Christopher Nunes, UCA, marketing. Maybe you want to get into marketing. He's a perfect person to talk to about marketing. I know only 25% of marketing. So I'm not going to try sit down and teach you about marketing. I can tell you about personal development. I can tell you about finding mentors and mentorship. I can tell you how to meditate and get it, how to just get up and find confidence and learn how to move through the system, fight through adversity. But when it comes to other stuff, when it comes to sales, I'd got to Dwayne McIntosh because he's good on sales. When it comes to finding vision and crafting a purpose for your life, I talked to Jeffrey Azan about that. When it comes to other areas, there are different persons that you can talk to who are just as young and they're in the industry already. And you just shoot them a DM or you see them in person and say, hey, I like what you're doing. Let me try that. But how can I get on this path that you're on? I want to learn more about drop shipping. I want to learn more about this. And then you just have a conversation with them in relation to that. So that's my take on finding mentors and mentorship. I'm not sure if anybody on the live have questions at present, but my encouragement to you is to reach out, know what you want, sit down, take some time and have a somewhat vision. The vision don't have to be a whole page, as I said. You can plan 2 years of your life. Don't force yourself to plan 5 years of your life because not everyone knows what they want for the next 5 years of their life. Your life is not it's not something that you just, oh yeah, I'll figure it out right now. It's stages, and an appreciation of the stages will give you less stress and anxiety, in my opinion. And having a somewhat vision, write it down, two sentences, 3 sentences long, and work on it. So that when you decide to reach out to a mentor now and say, hey, can you help me achieve this, or what are the steps to take to achieve this, then they can guide you accordingly. For myself, I personally don't put myself in a position to be a mentor because I think that there are things that I'm still working on, and to me it's a relationship that you should add value to. So I don't want to, it's a responsibility, not just a relationship, it's a responsibility. A lot of persons like say, oh, I'm a mentor, I'm a mentee. It's a responsibility, and based on where I'm at in life now, in my transition, in now I'm in law school, balancing speaking engagements, I don't want to take on the responsibility of a life and not give value to that life. So one person the other day said that, hey, you know that you're my mentor, right? And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah, but I know that you're busy. I'm just going to check in on you every now and again in relation to public speaking. I said to her, fine, I can help you with the public speaking. I may not be able to link with you every time, but when you have a presentation, just shoot me, let me see what you're doing. I look over it, and me tell you what to do to fix it. And I think that's where my capacity is right now, to mentor one person. So as much as I'm sharing this information with everybody, it's not really a sale to say, hey, let me mentor you, but me can answer your question them and them thing there. So thank you for joining the live. I really appreciate it. I hope to make this live available for persons who weren't able to tune in. And my encouragement to you is to just live an intentional life, find a mentor that will help you cut down the learning curve, leaving university, trying to figure out where you want to go, and just have a plan. And once you have a plan, it may not be a foolproof plan, but it's a plan nonetheless. Thanks again for joining. And let me know if you want to do more of these kind of things. I'm kind of rambling right now, but let me know if you want more of these kind of Sunday evening live on different topics. And yeah, meditate and get it. Blessings.